Hey, 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 good morning, YouTube. It's been a while. How's everybody going? How's everything doing? Listen, I just wanted to come on here real quick and talk about the Grammys. I was so exhausted yesterday. I went to sleep so fast. Look, the Grammys is always something every year, along with the VMAs and any other award show that goes on in Hollywood. But the unholy performance was in your face, smack dab in your face. Um, Shout out to one of my bosses who sent me a link where they talked about CBS tweeted and said, "Let's worship." Now, something that I noticed during the televised broadcast was that Pfizer was a sponsor of the performance or of the show. It's interesting. Hmm. And they were dressed in red pleather. He had a hat with devil horns on it. Kim comes out, they accept it, they get a Grammy. She comes out, announces she's first trans. Then they perform and she's in a cage, and it really mimicked something like I don't know, having people or kids or children or animals or something caged up and them not being able to get out. I don't know. It was something that was really kind of weird to me. It was really, really weird. But that's what they was promoting, and it was right in your face. Now, something else I noticed is Lil Kim. They didn't have Lil Kim in the whole performance era move. And Nikki, okay, I know Nikki is probably on her last leg. They're not fooling with Nikki no more. It seems like Nikki has been counted out, right? But Lil Kim should have been there. And I wonder why she wasn't. She should have performed with her bobbing and her weaving. She could have performed. But who knows what the reason was. I was shocked that Miss B was late. Um I was shocked to see Trevor Noah actually walk her Grammy out to her. It was interesting when they were, giving awarding her with the Grammy, and the young guy said he was accepting on her behalf. He went up, and I'm trying to remember if I saw him. I didn't see him get a Grammy. I didn't see them give him anything. And I thought, how odd. Why not give it to him? He accepted on her behalf. Give him the Grammy. She'll get it when she get here. But oh no, honey, old Trevor, honey, they waltzed that Grammy down there to the table when she got here with a tardiness. Mm, it was something else. It was interesting to see. It was interesting to see what they put in our face. We used to talk about stuff like this, days like this, performances like this, situations like this. There are a lot of messages being passed around in our face. There are a lot of messages put out here to transcend, transform, to divide. It's a lot of mess put out here showing the evil and wickedness that we live amongst every day. It's unfortunate. And Miss Party with Barty, she's looking more and more like Nicki Minaj every day. Now, speaking of Party, her husband Offset, I think he might be going through something. People go through things and they don't always talk about it, but you know what? He had to give Jay Prince that little message Jay Prince threatened him on $1 million worth of game with Gilly and his co-host. I was shocked that they would allow Jay Prince to sit on that panel on a live show and issue a threat, because that's what he did. That's what he did pretty much. He issued a threat to Offset, and he called him by name. He put a name on it. But I just thought, with all of their capping about lives and, young lives matter and black lives matter, I would have thought they would have checked him and be like, nah, wait a minute, hold up. You can't do that on here. You can't do that. But they didn't. I don't know if they were scared, or if they just feel like there's no censorship. When you come to their place, it's open conversation. But Offset said, you speaking on my real brother. I don't know y'all from a can of paint. Y'all done 5 interviews. Ain't nobody said nothing. Ain't nobody talking but y'all. And I thought to myself, when Jay Prince say he got people everywhere and he hearing things, I ain't gonna even lie. The first thing came to my mind was Quavo. Because Quavo still appears to be in good graces with Jay Prince. Despite what everybody's saying about it, Takeoff's death, being a sacrifice or being planned, and they refer to his video and they claim it was, this is like a prediction. Look at how this is set up, and look at this, and look, and a lot of times people think, oh, that's so silly. Oh, they just believe anything. Oh, they come up with some of the most far-fetched things. But what happens when those things are not far-fetched or as far-fetched as one would think? They could be on to something. I don't know. But I know one thing. Offset had a message of his own. And I feel like Offset was saying, keep my brother's name out your mouth, is what I received from the message that Offset gave. I also received Offset as saying, I ain't studying you, your sons, your title, or your city. We ain't with it. You're gonna leave this family alone one way or the other. Offset had a little clap back of his own. And I think it's overdue, because one thing that stands true is that blood thicker than mud. And I had always thought that him and Quavo and Takeoff would squash their beef and get back to being the Amigos. But I guess, if one part of the Amigos is suing your management or your label, that probably won't work. And did Upset ever put his album out? I remember his wife saying something about he was gonna, you know, have something to say on his album, a response on his album, back when they was talking about uh Quavo claimed that he messed with Saweetie. I remember Party saying that her husband was gonna have something to say on his album. Did he ever put the album out? What did he have to say? And more importantly, what was it that was so serious, so thick, so prickly that it would break up a whole kinship? Because they family, they blood. Now they came together for Quavo's death. I mean, excuse me, for Takeoff's death. But when they got ready to do the tribute, it's being reported that Quavo kicked Upset off the tribute, saying, "No, you can't tribute. You can't come up here with us and ride with us." And that was something that Jay Prince also said. You wasn't fooling with Takeoff in real life. And I thought to myself, wow, y'all still talking about Takeoff? But it's so much It's so much to the story on what happened. Did you guys know that one of the main suspects in Takeoff's passing had $1 million bond, and Jay Prince and them paid the bond for him? Did y'all know that he is contemplating the strategic defense, that it was self defense because it was a whole shootout, and he's gonna claim that Takeoff was hit accidentally? See, Jay Prince and family is saying a lot. They actually talking too much. But like Offset and them said, like Upset said, they watching and listening, but ain't nobody feeling them. And like he said, if he felt like Upset had something to say or would have said something sideways, he could have called him on the phone. But hey, all of his misdirection, deflection, distraction, diversion, because there's something bigger going on. Guess what I read last night? I read that them so-called them balloons, the balloon that was over Montana, that they kept blaming on China, on the Chinese. Well, I read that it wasn't the Chinese balloon. So whose balloon would it have been? You got it. Hmm. They said that balloon was from the evil geniuses over here. Now, what was it put up for? Was it put up to steal information, to gather information? Was it put up to spin a narrative that China is doing something to us or bothering us? Because China is a part of the solution when it comes to our situation. And I'm talking about the good people of China, not the bad people. Remember, there's two sides. Just like over there, over here, it's over there. You got the good and you got the bad. Over here, they call the bad deep state. Over there, they call the bad CCP. They're a part of a resolution that we're working towards. And it just seems like a narrative is being spent to put them on the defense. Hmm. We really need to get together and talk about some of what's going down for real behind the scenes. You notice how Jay and Bay's former bodyguard came out with this story of drugs and infidelities and different baby daddies and all of the things. And then it took off. People started talking, stuff started coming up. They talked about what all Jay-Z gifted Bay with and how she stayed with him while, after his cheating and all of this. It just seems like another distraction because it's about time for them to be on the back burner. It's about time for them to be on the back burner. So when you look at the fact of how Bay went and put a whole album together off of sampling somebody else's music, and she's got the most Grammys that have ever, been given out, and several other now, this whole thing coming out with her and her husband. They're getting ready. I feel like they're preparing for something. They're getting ready to move on. And they should if it's that time. And allegedly it's that time. Because, last night at the Grammys, I saw a lot of people. Well, let me say, I saw a lot of doppelgangers. I saw a lot of doppelgangers because the biological portion of those individuals are no longer here. You know, when we was watching the Grammys, I saw Pharrell, doppelganger, J and Bay, doppelganger. Hmm. And why is it that Party is starting to look so much more like Nikki. Are they really trying to replace Nikki with Party? I mean, I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering. Even more so, the question of the year is Nikki Preggers again. Now that's what I really want to know. Cause word on the curb is that Nikki is Preggers again. Is she? That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. And I don't mean interesting as in I want to see her with another baby. No, I don't mean that at all. I don't mean that at all. You know, sometimes people get pushed when they get pushed to the back of the shelf. Sometimes they have to have an event, right? Before they get put on the shelf and let dust collect on them, they have to have an event. And I feel like Preggers would be an event for her before she gets put on the shelf. I hope that's not the case. I really do. But yeah, that unholy performance on the Grammys last night was something else, all in evil red, blood red, with the cage, the dancers, the horns. It's disgusting at what they put in our face. And we look at it, oh, it's art, it's creativity. No, it's evil. It's evil for real. They give it a name of art, they give it a name of creativity, but in reality it is pure evil. And they put it right in our face. And for CBS to put out a tweet saying, let's worship, I worship one. He is the all divine, the almighty God. There will never be another one. And there is no amount of money I want in this world that would make me sell my soul. Listen, I messed around and got a hold to Glorilla's pictures where she up there covering one eye. Talking about she was showing off her jewelry. Girl, you done it. You done jumped the broom. You done got jumped in. Don't play. Because one thing that, and listen, I don't wear wigs, but I'm gonna tell you what I noticed during the Grammys when she was performing. Her wig was full, baby. She had a full wig on. It wasn't no thin wig like we're used to seeing when people had a 60-inch hair hanging down their butt and the wig is kind of thin. It was nothing like that, baby. It was very full and very thick. It was so much hair on that wig, she couldn't do nothing but wear it down. It actually was so much hair on the wig, I was wondering how she was able to hold her head up. Because she looked like she all but 65 pounds wet. She's smaller than Coyle Ray. Mm-hmm. Coyle Ray is on tour. She's doing well. I hope I don't see her throwing up any signs that, you know, give away her position or her stance. Because it's unfortunate. And what's really unfortunate to see is you got all of these hip hoppers and stuff coming into the game, and everybody feel like, oh my God, you gotta have ice, you gotta have these big bulky necklaces, and you gotta have this and you gotta have that. It would be nice to see somebody come in and be responsible. Pay your house off. Pay cash for your house. Get your kids' college fund started. Grandkids' college fund started. I don't have no kids, grandkids. Perfect way to invest. Get the fund started anyway. It was a lot going on the night of the Grammys. A lot. And you know, I have to say, after the Grammys, some interesting things popped off in real life. Uh huh. Interesting things popped off. Remember, the devil's greatest trick was but making people believe he didn't exist. He very much exists and is very much worshipped by some very desperate people. Why would I call them desperate? Because sometimes people don't know the difference between the devil and God. What do you mean? Easy. Sometimes people get blessings, and the first thing they do is say, "Thank you, Jesus." But the blessing didn't come from Jesus, the blessing came from the devil. Now, how can you tell the difference between the two? I can't. But because I know the devil exists, because I know he's real, because I know he is uh, an estranged angel, I know that a lot of bad things come into the world designed, shaped, and looking like they're good when they're not. That's what I know. That's what I know. And then when you look at the news and all the stuff that's going on in the world, it's still bad. You still got people sitting around talking about Bin Laden and how he's the worst person in that seat, of course. But y'all put him there. Y'all praise him. Mm-hmm. And that's another devil, pure evil. But it often takes people longer than others to see it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I hope everything's been going well for everybody. I'm planning, I got something major coming up in 2 weeks, so I'm just planning and preparing and getting everything together and getting ready and yeah. So I'm just kind of not tuned in to a lot. I was tuned into the Grammys because that was a way of letting my hair down and just, catching up on songs and who's doing what. I see a lot of new performers out here on the streets. But that was a way of me just letting my hair down and getting some relaxation and whatnot. But yeah, I'm so focused on what I got going on right now, I can't think straight. What's going on, Marie? Good morning, baby girl. Good morning, love. I'm so focused on what I got going on that I just, besides work, I just don't have time for nothing else. So anyway, I didn't want nothing. I just want to come on here and tell y'all, if I hadn't seen the replay of the unholy performance, you should. Um, their whole backdrop, everything was really wicked, and it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate that was streamed and cherished and appreciated by some really weird people. Yeah. But hey, this is Tuesday. We are 3 days ahead of the weekend. 4 days ahead of the weekend, excuse me. So, tick tock, tick tock. Y'all have a good day. I'll catch you on the flip.